Do you know how to hurt someone who has everything? Well, let me tell you. You have to take away what they love the most because money can't buy it back. Oh, honey, you didn't know anything about luxury until you've experienced it in my arms. It will cost you an eye, but it will be worth it. The first time I saw him, he was talking to a bunch of businessmen. He looked so lonely. I had never felt such a strong urge to comfort a stranger before. There was something about his smile that reminded me of a forgotten dream. His name is Raphael, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was experiencing love at first sight. He wasn't the richest man in the world, but he had something better than money: true power. When he entered the room, everyone stood up. I sat there staring at him. I wanted to be noticed by him, but it seemed like everyone else faded away when he entered. He walked towards me, and all I could do was sit there frozen, mesmerized by his beauty. Raphael came closer and bent down to whisper in my ear, "Do you know how to make a man forget about his problems?" My heart skipped a beat. Was this part of some game? His hot breath sent shivers down my spine. Then he straightened up and said, "I think you can teach me." His eyes held mine, and I couldn't look away. I was captivated. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He smiled. "Don't play coy with me, my dear. I know what you're capable of." His words made me blush. I had no idea what he was talking about, but there was something exciting about being mysterious. I liked that he knew more than I did. It made me feel like there were hidden depths to both of us that we hadn't fully explored yet. Suddenly, one of the men from earlier approached us. "Mr. Walters," he said, his tone laced with concern, "your meeting with the investors is about to start. They're waiting for you." I watched as Raphael's face shifted, his charm fading away, replaced by a coldness that made me shiver. "Thank you, Jacob," Raphael replied, his voice now distant. He straightened his suit, his gaze no longer meeting mine. The warmth that had radiated from him moments before vanished, leaving behind a void that mirrored the hollowness in my chest. As Jacob walked away, I reached out to Raphael, hoping to hold on to the last remnants of that connection, but he pulled away, his eyes distant. "I'm sorry, but I don't have time for games right now," he said, his voice devoid of the warmth that had so captivated me just moments ago. With that, he turned away, leaving me standing there feeling exposed and foolish. I wanted to reach out to him, to ask questions, but something held me back. Maybe it was the sudden shift in his demeanor or the realization that I knew nothing about the man I had fallen for. His words echoed in my ears, reminding me of my place. I wasn't here to play games. As he walked away, I watched him go, my heart sinking with every step he took away from me. I wanted to call after him, to ask him to come back, but my throat was hoarse, my voice trapped inside my chest. All I could do was watch him disappear into the crowd. When he disappeared through the door, I left the building. There was nothing for me there anymore. Suddenly, I heard a voice behind me. "Looking for this?" I turned around and saw the same man who had called Raphael, Mr. Walters, Jacob. He held out a card towards me. On it was written, R. Walters. "I want to work for him," I told the man. "Can you help me?" He looked at me thoughtfully for a moment. "Are you sure? You won't regret it." I shook my head. "No, I won't." I knew nothing about the kind of work he did, but I didn't care. I only knew that I wanted to be close to him, even if it meant getting involved in something dangerous. Jacob handed me the card and gave me directions to his boss's house. It was a long drive, but I was excited to finally meet Raphael again. The thought of seeing him made my heart race. I knew he was powerful and wealthy, but I had no idea what kind of person he really was. As I arrived at the grand mansion, I couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. It was huge, elegant, everything that I had ever dreamed of. But it was the thought of seeing Raphael again that truly captivated me. I parked my car and got out, adjusting my dress as I walked towards the front door. The interior of the house was just as impressive. It was luxurious, tastefully decorated. I could see why Raphael felt the need to protect his home. I rang the bell and waited patiently for someone to answer. Moments later, a tall, handsome man appeared. He greeted me warmly. "You must be Miss Perez. I'm here to escort you to Mr. Walters." He led me through the house towards a closed door at the end of the hallway. As we approached, I could hear muffled voices coming from behind it. The man knocked on the door, and without waiting for a response, he opened it and gestured for me to enter. Inside, I saw Raphael sitting behind a large desk. He was talking on the phone, his back towards me. As he listened, his jaw tightened and his shoulders slumped slightly. When he ended the call, he turned around and his eyes met mine. "You came," he said, his voice a mixture of surprise and relief. I nodded, unable to speak. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then he motioned for me to sit down in a chair facing him. "Why are you here, Raphael?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He leaned back in his chair and studied me for a moment. "I thought you might want to know the truth." I frowned, confused by his words. "What truth?" He hesitated, then began to speak in a low voice. "I wasn't always the person you met at the party. I have another side, something I kept hidden." He stopped, looking away as if searching for the right words. "There are things in my life that I'd rather keep private, things that could harm you if they were exposed." I reached out to touch his arm, but he flinched away, pulling his sleeve back over his wrist. "What are you hiding, Raphael? Why haven't you told me?" His reaction startled me. Was there something in his past that he was ashamed of? Something dark that lurked beneath his charming exterior? He looked back at me, his eyes filled with pain. "It's not safe for you to know, Isabella. Some things are best left buried." His words hung in the air between us, heavy with unspoken truths. I could see the struggle in his eyes, the internal battle he was facing. For a moment, the only sound that filled the room was the ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner. I wanted to reach out to him, to pull away the mask he had carefully constructed, but I knew he wasn't ready to reveal his secrets. Not yet. "Please, Raphael, tell me," I whispered, reaching out to him. "If it's not safe, then protect me." His gaze locked onto mine. In that intense stare, I saw a flicker of vulnerability, a glimpse of the tormented soul that resided within him. But before he could respond, the sound of footsteps echoed down the hallway. We both turned our heads to see who had interrupted us. A tall, slender woman stood in the doorway. Her eyes, red from crying, were fixed on Raphael. "What are you doing here, mother?" Raphael snapped, his voice betraying his irritation. The woman ignored him and walked towards me, her gaze sharp and accusatory. She stopped in front of me, sizing me up with a critical eye. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Her voice was cold, devoid of any warmth. I could sense the animosity radiating from her. She clearly didn't approve of my presence. "I'm here to work for your son, ma'am," I replied politely. Despite her rude behavior, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. I could see the deep sadness etched on her face. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. The woman scoffed. "You poor thing. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. No one does." She shook her head and turned away, wiping at her eyes with a tissue. I wanted to ask more questions, to delve deeper into the mystery surrounding them, but I knew it was pointless. Whatever their family issues were, it wasn't my place to pry. "Mother! Enough!" Raphael snapped, his voice tight with annoyance. "She's not here to listen to our family squabbles. Leave before you embarrass yourself further." The woman glanced back at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of warning and hatred. "Don't trust him, Isabella Perez," she hissed, before turning and walking away. Once she was gone, Raphael let out a shaky breath, his shoulders slumping slightly. I'm sorry about my mother, he said quietly. She's been through a lot recently, and it's taken its toll on her. I nodded understandingly, though I couldn't fathom the depth of their troubles. It's all right, Raphael. Everyone has their own burdens to carry. I paused, then added softly, I hope she finds peace. He looked at me, his eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Isabella. For a moment there was silence between us. I could feel his gaze on me, but I didn't dare move, afraid it would break the fragile connection we had formed. Finally he spoke, his voice raspy. Would you like some tea or coffee? I shook my head. No, thank you. I should probably get going. He nodded slowly. Of course. Here, he said, reaching for something in his drawer. He pulled out an envelope and handed it to me. This is for your trouble. Please take it. I hesitated, unsure what to say. Should I stay? Should I leave? What was I doing here anyway? I took the envelope, surprised by the thickness of the bills inside. But, Raphael, I didn't. He cut me off. Don't argue. Just take it. I looked up at him, searching for answers in his eyes, but found none. He was staring at something on the floor, his face unreadable. With the envelope in hand, I left the house. As I drove home, the weight of the situation pressed down on me. Why had his mother warned me not to trust him, and what exactly was she referring to? As I pondered these questions, I couldn't shake off a growing unease. The encounter with Raphael's mother had left an unsettling feeling in my gut. Her words echoed in my mind. Don't trust him, Isabella Perez. But why shouldn't I trust him? He had shown me kindness, offered me a glimpse of a world I had only dreamed of. Yet there was something beneath the surface, something his mother's warning and Raphael's guarded demeanor hinted at. Had I been naive to think I could simply walk into his life and unravel the complexities that surrounded him? Or was there more to the story? A truth that lay hidden beneath the layers of deceit? One thing was certain, the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty and danger, and I had willingly chosen to walk it. Now I had to face the consequences. To be continued next week.